held on Tuesday, June 7, 2022, at 6:40 PM. If everyone do please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Brennan? Absent. Trustee Galante? Here. Trustee Mahoney?
Present.
Trustee Mueller?
Here.
Trustee Sullivan?
Here.
President Klotz?
Present. Thank you. I would like to ask the board for a motion to consider approval of the agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll second.
Thanks, Colleen. I think you beat them to the buzzer. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 1. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante? Yes. Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 2, I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider approval of the minutes of the regular village board meeting held on May 17, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mike. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 2. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante? Yes. Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. The next item, item 3, I would like to turn it over to Major Carr.
Thank you, Mayor Glatz. I'd like to consider a proclamation recognizing the Illinois Air and Army National Guard for their contributions to the first COVID-19 mass vaccination site at the Tinley Park Convention Center.
Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Major.
The Village of Tinley Park hosted the first mass vaccination site in the state of Illinois at the Tinley Park Convention Center. The Illinois National Guard set up, manned, and operated this vaccination site in partnership with the Village of Tinley Park, the Tinley Park Police and Fire Departments, and the Tinley Park Emergency Management Agency. I'd like to consider a proclamation recognizing the Illinois Air and Army National Guard for their contributions to the first COVID-19 mass vaccination site at the Tinley Park Convention Center. And prior to reading the proclamation tonight, I'd like to read a quick bio of the representative from the Illinois National Guard, Brigadier General Rodney Boyd. Brigadier General Rodney Boyd was appointed the Assistant Adjutant General for the Illinois Army National Guard on July 1, 2021. His previous assignment was as the Assistant Chief of Staff, J4 Wartime, United States Forces, Korea. As the Assistant Adjutant General, he serves as a principal assistant to the Adjutant General in all matters pertaining to supervision and management of the Illinois Department of Military Affairs and Illinois Army National Guard, which consists of 10,000 citizen soldiers. General Boyd began his military career as a Marine Corps reservist in 1982. After completing his obligation with the Marines, he joined the Illinois Army National Guard. In April 1989, General Boyd attended the Illinois Army National Guard Officer Candidate School at Camp Lincoln, Springfield, Illinois. Upon completion in August of 1990, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Quartermaster Corps. In addition to completing basic training in OCS, General Boyd's military education includes Quartermaster Officer Basic Course, Quartermaster Officer Advanced Course, Transportation Officer Advanced Course, Combined Arms and Service Staff School, Immediate Leadership Education Course, Theater Sustainment Command Course, Combat Service Support Pre-Command Course, the U.S. Army War College, the Joint Combined Warfare Fighter School Hybrid, and Dual Status Commander Course. General Boyd has held many leadership and staff positions during his more than 35 years service, including Material Maintenance Officer of the 108th Support Battalion, Platoon Leader, A Company 108th Support Battalion, Platoon Leader, 1244 Transportation Company, 108th Support Battalion, Plans and Operations Officer, 165th Troop Command Brigade Commander, 1644 Transportation Company, Detachment Commander. Some of his military awards and decorations include Legion of Merit, the Bronze Star Medal, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, Second Award, National Defense Service Medal with Bronze Star, Iraq Campaign Medal with 1 Campaign Star, Afghanistan Campaign Medal with 1 Campaign Star, Global War on Terrorism Service Medal, and Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal. I would now like to read the proclamation. This proclamation recognizes the Illinois and Army National Guard for their contributions to the first COVID-19 mass vaccination site at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Whereas on January 25th, 2021, the Illinois National Guard began its vaccination mission and played a vital role in the historic effort to control the spread of COVID-19. And whereas the Illinois National Guard served on the front lines of the state's COVID-19 vaccination response operations. During this time, approximately 1,300 soldiers, 470 airmen served on the front lines of the response. And whereas overall, the Illinois National Guard supported the vaccination mission in 71 of Illinois' 102 counties at 639 vaccine locations in 241 communities. And whereas the Village of Tinley Park was privileged to host the first mass vaccination site in the state of Illinois, located at the Tinley Park Convention Center from January 2021 to May of 2021. This location provided over 150,000 vaccinations to citizens in and near the Tinley Park community. Whereas the Illinois National Guard set up, manned, and operated this vaccination site in partnership with the Village of Tinley Park, the Tinley Park Police Department, the Tinley Park Fire Department, and the Tinley Park Emergency Management Agency. Now therefore be it proclaimed by the President, Clerk, and Board of Trustees of the Village of Tinley Park, Cook and Will Counties, Illinois, on behalf of more than 55,000 citizens here represented at the Village of Tinley Park, extends its warm thanks to the Illinois National Guard as they serve those at risk in the Village of Tinley Park and the surrounding communities. Adopted this day, 7 June 2022, signed by Mayor Michael Glatz, Clerk Nancy O'Connor, and the Board of Trustees.
General.
Yes,
Go to the mic. Go to the mic, General.
how's that? Thank you, Village Clerk and Mayor and trustees and everyone here in Tinley Park. I want to thank you all. I was driving up, because my office is in Springfield, so as I was driving up to Springfield, I texted the Village Clerk, said, hey, I'm gonna be close with time, but I'll get there. And because it was important for me to come here tonight, right? Because one of the things we have in our formation is we have citizen soldiers. So when we work with a community, our soldiers live in those communities that we work in. So I tell all our soldiers, first and foremost, we put on this uniform to fight and win our nation's war. That's what we do. We fight and win our nation's war. But only second to that, we are here to serve the communities that we live and work in. So it gives me great pleasure to be here and accept this proclamation on behalf of Major General Richard Neely, who is the Adjutant General of the Illinois National Guard. I accept this on his behalf. So thank you all. One little last plug. We would like to have any young men or young lady in our formation. We got free education, we got a good free health care, and we pay a good salary too. Oh, by the way, we're offering about a $20,000 signing bonus if you know anybody in the area that wants a $20,000 signing bonus and want to serve in our great formation. Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, General.
Madam Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Item 4, receive presentations of the Tinley Park Business Spotlight, Pappas Gourmet Popcorn, and Aurelio's Pizza. I will go first with Pappas Gourmet Popcorn's new Tinley Park location at 6741 South Street. Offers several flavors, pop to order, including kicking jalapeno, sriracha, birthday, and barbecue, in addition to their award-winning caramel flavor, which is popped every 10 minutes, every day, in 100% coconut oil. We are pleased to welcome Walter Dean of Pappas Gourmet Popcorn. Take it away, Walter.
Hello, are you okay? Well, first of all, thank you guys, and I appreciate y'all having Pappas Gourmet Popcorn present today at the Spotlight for Tinley. I appreciate you guys and the village, everything that you guys helped us get started over there. Let me start off, I had a little note, so I had to tend myself so I don't be long-winded here. But we do want to make sure that we appreciate that we open our door on Mother's Day right there on 6741 South Street and the Boulevard, the new building that guy constructed over there. Since we've been there, everything, like I said, been warm from you guys, and we appreciate that. Pappas Gourmet Popcorn, we feature, like Mayor Clark said, we feature fresh popcorn. We try to focus on community and family values. We had a store in Joliet in 2017 when we first opened up. We looked for somewhere else for a second location that was going to be friendly and family-oriented. I partnered with Tracy Smith and her husband, David Smith, along with my wife, Leanne. And once we opened that doors, it's been running off ever since. We did a feature in Convention Center. We did the Boo Bash. We've done a lot of events with the Tinley Park location. Anybody that comes to the location and tastes the popcorn, they're gonna understand why we deserve the best as our tagline. And we advocate popcorn fans, so we try to present the best popcorn for the neighborhood and everything. So I don't want, like I said, I'm trying to keep it short. I appreciate you guys and everything that the village did to us and come out. We have featured dueling popcorns. We do events. We do catering, make small bags for weddings and donations and everything like that. So.
You're at the farmer's market on the grand opening?
Yes, we was on the farmer's market. It was fantastic through the farmer's market.
And
It was great.
you guys also, if you go in there, have a huge display of all the tins that you guys make and all your favorite sports team.
Yes, we have tins. Thank you.
Yep, I got you.
I don't want to leave that. I'm a little nervous, but yes, we have tins. We have the sports tins. We have, like I said, tins we can customize for company events and stuff like that. So, yeah.
And you're going to work on a specialty one for us?
Yes, also, so, thank you. Yeah. We also have something we got planned for the Tinley Amplified. We have a special bucket that we're gonna be handing out that the citizens or anybody that purchased them can come back for, I think, $5 or $10 refills. The bucket they'll be able to carry around, have popcorn while they watch the events and the music in the park and stuff like that. We're also doing something out right now with the car event that's going on now.
The car show.
The car show, yeah, the car show today.
Yep, they have, depending on which team you like, they have the Sox, they have the Cubs.
They have the Cubs,
Bears,
yeah.
They have the Packers,
We have the Packers. Unfortunately.
Life Amplified.
Yeah, the Packers. No pun, Packer fans, but yeah, we do have Packer team.
Yeah, but if you haven't had a chance to stop in there, please, Walter, your wife Leanne and Tracy and them, great job. It's absolutely beautiful in there, and unfortunately, I plan on spending a lot of money.
Yeah, you've been,
And the caramel.
he's been there supporting already. And like I said, everybody that came, I appreciate it. And anybody that haven't came yet, come on, stop by. You get treated like family because we got treated like family when we came in. We appreciate it.
I know you forgot a couple of things that
Yes.
Mike had to remind
Yes.
you about.
Yes, I did.
Because you're nervous, I
Yes,
understand that.
yes.
Did you bring some popcorn, or did you forget that
I didn't know that was a thing, but I did.
too? It's okay. We'll just chalk it up to being nervous.
Yes, okay, yeah. Anybody else want to ask me anything? No, but please stop by, like I said, 6741 South Street, right in the boulevard across the street from the metro station. That's where we located. We have a website also, Pappas Gourmet, popcorn.com.
Your hours?
Hours for the day, well, during the whole week, it's 11 to 7 every day, except Sundays, we're 11 to 4.
Great. Well, thanks, Walter.
All right, man, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Aurelio's Pizza is Chicagoland's first and the nation's fifth established pizza chain. The very first Aurelio's restaurant, opened on Ridge Road in Homewood, Illinois, is the pride and joy of Joseph A. Aurelio Jr. in 1959. The Tinley Park location boasts newly renovated dining and party rooms, a full menu, and catering options in addition to its famous pizza. Is the owner, Tom, here? No? But, okay. Just enjoy Aurelio's then.
I guess we're not getting any pizza.
No popcorn, no pizza. We're out of luck.
But you can go purchase some popcorn if you go to 6741.
And I can attest to the cheesy jalapeno is phenomenal. Really good.
I like the Parmesan garlic.
I like that one too. I've
I got the
tasted
cheese-
many.
Cheese on Saturday.
Yes.
Right, I'll be
Very-
I
there
think you've seen
Saturday.
us all.
Yeah. I was glad to see you guys at the farmer's market, so.
Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Next, we have item number 5. Receive presentation of the Rita L. Brudd Memorial Scholarships. The Rita Brudd Scholarship Program awards 4 $1,000 scholarships to graduating seniors residing in Tinley Park with plans to attend a higher education institution in the fall. In addition to academic achievement, a substantial consideration in selecting winners is how much community service the students have performed. The scholarship program is named in honor of Rita Brudd, who served as a commissioner for 46 years until her passing in April of 2019. She contributed more than 20,000 hours of volunteer work and received many recognitions and awards, including a Life Achievement Award from Tinley Park Chamber of Commerce. This year's sponsorships have been generously donated by Homewood Disposal, Peterson Johnson and Murray, Robinson Engineering, and Christopher Burke Engineering. I'd like to introduce our Commissioner and Plan Commission Chairman, Mr. Garrett Gray, who will publicly recognize this year's scholarship recipients.
Thank you, Mayor Glotz, and thank you, Board of Trustees, for your time here today. As stated, I'm here to present the 2022 Rita Brudd Memorial Scholarships. These $1,000 scholarships are awarded to graduating high school seniors who will be attending a college or trade school in the fall. This scholarship was renamed after Rita Brudd, who passed away in 2019. Rita Brudd was a volunteer in the village of Tinley Park for 4+ decades. As Mayor Glotz said, 46 years. That's pretty unbelievable, right? I mean, 10 years would be a lot, but 46 years. Rita was a longtime commissioner and the chair of the Tinley Park Community Resources Commission, also known as the CRC, that has since been absorbed as part of the Marketing Commission. With the CRC, Rita spearheaded and led volunteers in many great programs that benefited our Tinley Park community, such as the Tinley Park Holiday Market, the Discover Tinley Expo, the Youth in Government Program, the Tinley Park Public Access television shows, and many other great programs and events that benefited our Tinley Park community, including this very same scholarship program today. Tinley Park is a volunteer community, as we all know, and many moons ago, when I first volunteered for the CRC at the Discover Tinley Expo, I saw firsthand the type of leadership and people under Rita's guidance. Throughout this 2-day event, the CRC volunteers, adorned in their red shirts like they are here in the first row, would repeatedly say 4 words: how can I help? These 4 words, how can I help, exemplify the volunteer spirit of Rita Brudd, who was loyal in her service to the Tinley Park community. For when you volunteer for a cause, an organization, or a community, you give the most precious commodity of them all, your time. And Rita gave 46 years of her time to the betterment of the Tinley Park community. Which brings us here today for the scholarships. But before we present the scholarships and these nice plaques, I would be remiss not to mention some well-deserved thank yous. Due to the pandemic, members of the Marketing Commission, myself included, had real concerns that the scholarship program could be in jeopardy. As with most programs, momentum is everything, and the pandemic shut down the world for a bit. Former CRC member Don Budney did a lot of heavy lifting regarding this scholarship program in the last few years, and he passed last year, taking some knowledge with him along the way. So we had some serious challenges, but we're here today. So first and foremost, thank you, Mayor Glotz, for taking your time to reach out to sponsors to see if they could donate for this program. Your action kept this program alive. For without money to give to these students, we would have no scholarship program. With no donors, no program. So thank you again, and thank you to the donors who stepped up and answered that call and generously donated their money for this program. As Mayor Glotz mentioned, and I'll mention them again, these generous businesses consist of Robinson Engineering, Christopher Burke Engineering, Peterson Johnson and Murray, and Homewood Disposal. You made 4 high school students very happy and relieved some of their economic burden for college. Last, I wanted to thank the members of the Marketing Commission and Marketing Director Donna Framke, and especially former CRC members Mike Severe, Al Seegers, Deb Melchert, and Denise Politano, who were invaluable in this process. At this time, I'd like to give all of them a round of applause. Sorry for being long-winded. Now we can get on to the presentations of the where the plaques will be given to the recipients for the 4 2022 Rita Brudd Memorial Scholarships. At this time, if I could ask Mayor Glotz to come down. Al Seegers, can you come to the front to present the awards? And Donna, can you get your camera ready?
If we could, Garrett, for each recipient, could we have the sponsor
Sure.
in the photo too, so they can be recognized? Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm not sure if individual sponsors were tied to individual awards. Okay, any sponsors, get up there.
It's an easy way of doing it.
Yeah.
You know, can I do 2 things? The kids.
You sure can. You could do anything.
That's why I kept this seat. I know, buddy. Good. You had a great time down in Memphis.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to announce the first recipient to come down and receive their plaque. Mr. Austin Aaron from Andrew High School, please come up to the front. Austin is attending Illinois State and majoring in special education and elementary education. So congrats.
Give him the plaque.
Okay, excellent.
Forget the plaque. Where's the check?
Next, I'd like to call Mr. Timothy James from Tinley Park High School to come up front. Timothy is attending Alabama A&M and majoring in my favorite topic, civil engineering. Okay. Unfortunately, our other two recipients could not be here due to a family event. They are two twin sisters, Grace Hecht and Sarah Hecht, from Providence Catholic High School, who were awarded the scholarships, and they were selected independently by different judges. So I don't know if they're fraternal, I don't know if they're identical or whatnot, but obviously they have the same commitment to excellence. Grace is attending the University of Illinois and majoring in mechanical engineering, and her sister Sarah is attending Valparaiso University and majoring in health science and with direct entry into the Master's of Physicians Assistant program. So well done to all. Congrats to all the scholarship winners. This concludes the scholarship presentation. Yeah, absolutely. Can I invite the CRC members up front? They were invaluable.
Dad's gonna have to go out in the hallway. Sideways.
Yeah, right, got it. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Quick, so everyone knows.
Put a sippy cup.
From Open Disposal. Thank you, Mr. Seegers, for help with that. Thank you, Mr. Doria from Christopher Burke Engineering. Thank you, we have Paul O'Grady, our village attorney, thank you. And we got Dan from Robinson Engineering. Well, thank you guys for making this happen.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gary.
One of those big ones?
Next, we have item number 6. May I have a motion to consider approval of the consent agenda items?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
A second?
Thank you. The consent agenda items have been publicly posted and available for your review according to the Illinois Open Meetings Act. Would anyone from the board like any of these items removed from the consent agenda? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 6, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Next item, number 7. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider appointing Delgaldo Law Group as special counsel.
So moved. Second.
Thank you. The appointment of Delgaldo Law Group as a special counsel would authorize the village to utilize their services on an as-needed basis. Is there any questions from the board? Any comments from the pub? Go ahead.
I just want to repeat what I said during the earlier meeting, that I believe and so I can get a better understanding on where all the law spending is in the quarterly reporting that I've requested. I disagree that we should continue appointing more law firms, and that's why I will be voting no. Thank you.
And I'll just reiterate that this is not an addition. This is a law group that we are already using, and so just wanted to make that point.
Thank you. And to echo what Mike said, Delgaldo Law Group was appointed back in the last administration. If anyone watched a cow, Assistant Village Manager Hannah Littman explained, every single board meeting, we get, we receive an agenda packet, and it describes a detailed bill, their billing for everything that it's for. They don't do duplicative services. They do certain specialty items that maybe our village attorney can't do. So like if there is a liquor problem, and they have to go in front of the liquor commission, the village attorney can't do both. You have attorneys, which will be bringing another attorney to the next board meeting, which handles all of our community development issues that they have with code enforcement. They all do different types of services. They're not doing the same thing that PJM is doing. They're doing some of it legally. You have to have them do special services. So the innuendo that they're hired for no reason is just ludicrous, but I guess you can keep going down that path. Any questions from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 7, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
No.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion, I'm sorry, trustee Galante, can you repeat your vote, please? The clerk cannot
No.
hear your, thank you.
Thanks.
Everyone, if you could, please speak into your microphone, that would be very helpful, thank you.
Okay.
Item number 8, I'd like to ask the board to consider adopting ordinance number 2022-0-041, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 112.22 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, an addition of one Class S liquor video license, Flipside Brewing, 7144 183rd Street.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you, Colleen. The proposed ordinance would increase the number of Class S liquor licenses by one. Upon completion of renovations at 7144 183rd Street, the applicant would operate a brew pub with a specialty food menu and serve cider, cocktails, and wine in addition to several types of craft beer brewed on site. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole held prior to this meeting. This ordinance is eligible for adoption. What I would like to say, since we just had a brewery close there, very happy to have someone come in so quickly and fill that spot. So thank you for all the work you did, Kimberly, from the Community Development Department, and the help on the liquor side from Kristen and Hannah. So thank you, everyone. Any questions from the board?
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Diane.
Just to clarify, this is a brand-new business coming in, and they'll be getting the video licensing before waiting for the one-year waiting period? They did not have video gaming in there prior?
I think it's just an S. I think it's a typo.
It's just an S. I think that it shows in there. I think it was just, video never got deleted. It's just for the liquor.
You got to go by the class.
I just want to
If you
verify,
look
so
up-
there's no video.
Correct. That video,
Thank you.
gaming, yeah, it says liquor/video. It's just liquor. It's just.
I did, thank you for
Yep.
clarifying.
Just if you can, there's classes, if anyone wants to familiarize themselves, you can look the classes up. Thank you. Any other questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 8, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes,
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. Item number 9, consider appointing or adopting, I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider adopting ordinance number 2022-0-042, amending Title 11, Chapter 112, Section 22 of the Tinley Park Municipal Code, a reduction of one Class AV, one liquor license.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Colleen. Due to the recent closure of Durbin's Restaurant and Lounge, formerly located at 17265 South Oak Park Avenue, a reduction of one Class AV, one license is proposed. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll?
Roll call for item 9, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante.
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Mueller.
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item 10, Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2022-0-035, granting a variation to permit a corner fence and a secondary front yard for property located at 7501 Hanover Drive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dennis. This is going to get a little bit confusing. So please pay
You want to,
attention.
Paul, do you want to explain it before he continues?
Well, we have a motion to consider.
Consider, okay.
So at this time, I'm going to make, because of the fact that the Plan Commission recommended denial of this particular ordinance, I'm at this time going to make a motion to deny ordinance 2022-0-035.
So moved.
Count that as a second?
Second? Yes,
Yes.
that's a second.
So now,
Now you're reading discussion.
All right, so the petitioner, Eric Schmidt, is seeking a variation from zoning ordinance to permit a 6-foot-high privacy-style fence to encroach 10 feet into the required secondary front yard of their property located in the R3 zoning district. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 5th, 2022, and voted 3-4, recommending denial of the requested variation in accordance with the plans and findings of fact in the staff report. The village board held a first reading on this item on May 17, 2022, and this ordinance, which has been flipped, is eligible for adoption tonight. And we do the denial of these. They're pretty rare that the Plan Commission would deny a request like this. And so out of respect to that commission, the first opportunity that we have to vote on it will be consistent with their findings, which is to deny the ordinance.
so we're going to do, Eric, if you want to come up to the microphone. Mike, you wanted to discuss this?
Yep, so just for the board
Thanks, Eric.
and for the public, and thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Talking it over with staff, going through the Plan Commission, I believe that there's a couple options here. We have a 5-foot fence that could be put exactly where the petitioner would like. It would need to be an open style fence, which is essentially 50% open, and that would be perfectly allowed with the existing variations and the ordinances that we have as a village. Second option would be to go with a 6-foot privacy fence, as staff recommended, which would be 10-foot setback from the location where this fence is being requested. And I believe those were the two options. If we go against the Plan Commission's recommendations, this board will have to come to the next meeting with a new set of findings of facts to support that decision. They are a recommending body, but they do have some teeth, and that teeth would essentially apply to us in terms of bringing that back to this board with the new findings of facts that go against them. I think I got everything, Kimberly?
There wasn't a third option, right? It was just-
No, there's two.
Okay.
So now you can,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So,
So I think, like, for me, and again, I didn't prepare anything, and I'm not the best speaker, so I apologize for that. The zoning commission and the zoning board routinely grant variances listing the exact same hardship as I listed. They've done it numerous times. When I asked for the information from the first gentleman I spoke with, Walt, and then Lori, and then I never saw Walt again. The next couple meetings I saw Mr. Ritter, I think that Dan was his name, and then Lori again. They provided me two situations in the last couple of years where they granted one and they denied one. I've been in the community for forever, so I see the fences, I know what's been around and what's not. And so I did some digging on my own, and I found multiple in 2020, 2021, that were granted even more egregious than what I'm asking for. I've brought up a couple times 175th and Humber Lane, where they granted a 25-foot variation all the way to the sidewalk for a wrought iron fence with no abutting fences across, behind, to the side, across the street, or across the street the other direction. There's literally no houses right there at all. We're gonna give you 25 extra feet by, I think it's about 80 feet deep on your backyard. To me, it was abundantly clear at the first meeting with, at the official meeting with the zoning board, they just didn't like the cut of my jib that night. That was it. Like I said, three of the commissioners voted in favor of it. I'm not looking to cut myself off from my neighborhood. I'm just looking for privacy specifically on that side. Olcott is an artery. In the staff report, the staff specifically said Olcott was not an artery. Yet, on 2 different occasions, one house on the corner of Arcadia and Ridgeland, and another one on the corner of Carlsbad and Ridgeland, they called Ridgeland south of 167th Street an artery. Anybody that's in those areas or been around here for any length of time knows that it's kind of lopsided, right? Like, nobody's going through Ridgeland from 167th Street anywhere unless you know how to navigate down 4th, so you can kind of get over to Bulldogs. Olcott connects 171st to 167th. It's a main thoroughfare for Bannis School. It's a main thoroughfare for anybody that's looking to avoid traffic at certain points of the day on 80th or on Harlem Avenue, because it's the only one that goes through. I'd prefer not lose 600 square feet of my backyard, which is exactly what it will be if they take that from me. It's a 10-foot variation right now where the fence is. It's 60 feet deep. I'd prefer to not lose that. I've got a dog, I've got the little ones. I just want the privacy on that side. That's it. And like I said, and I've brought up a couple times, it's the only thing consistent about the zoning board, at least what I've seen in reviewing all the minutes, is a lack of consistency. That's really all I have. I'd like to, I sent Mayor Glatz an email yesterday, and I know you received it, and thank you for your response. I am incredibly appreciative. I hate being a thorn in the side. It's not how I operate, not how my family rolls. But I do appreciate your time. I appreciate the time of the staff, regardless of how it goes. I know the work that goes into it. I saw the staff report. I have a copy of it, right? So I do appreciate everybody's time and consideration. For me, I'm not asking for anything different than what's been granted for multiple other houses in the exact same situation.
Before you open it up to the board, Kimberly, is there anything you want to add to that may help the board one way or the other? And then I'll-
Obviously, a community of this tenure has seen various regulations in its time, and zoning codes change, and fences particularly do change based on community preference, development in the area, things like that. So this community has seen, particularly with fences, as indicated in the staff report alone, at least 5 or 6 modifications to the way we've regulated these. There is never going to be an all-inclusive code that addresses every scenario. So unfortunately, we have these pain points where you have residents who are particularly adjacent to someone who maybe was under an old code and now they're in a new code. So I sympathize with that. Because here everyone wants to, just have what's already in the neighborhood. So you'll have plenty of those things in the community where you can point to, but at the end of the day, there are standards that have to be considered, and these are standards that come down from state statute, and that are applicable to all variations. So it is important, and staff does try to, as much as possible, remain consistent and apply that consistently, but we had seen in the past the way the ordinances were written, they weren't consistently applied. There was some subjectivity that led to some people getting a fence administratively approved and others not, and no understanding on why. So that's why staff in 2017 made a big push to say, we recognize there are areas where administrative approval makes sense. We want to be painless for our residents that want to come through these processes, but recognize there's unique scenarios that we want to take into consideration. So 2017 was that big push to standardize the zoning the administrative approval for these corner fences. And that's where that 6-foot privacy and that kind of where it lied on the lot came into play. And that's the scenario we're kind of in. This individual's neighbor was approved in 2008 when it was approved administratively, and now we have his property, which was approved via a variation. We believe we've since eliminated some of these consistencies. And speaking to the Plan Commission, there was one Plan Commission member who, just in general, voted against, or voted supporting this because they didn't agree with the text amendment, but that wasn't what the request was at hand. That, the text amendment has already happened. So, supporting it just because they don't agree with the text amendment, that wasn't what we were supposed to be voting on. The direction was, meet the standards. So I sympathize. Corner lots are always a struggle here, and we try to regulate them as best as possible. But like or Trustee Mueller indicated, if the direction or the support is looking that the council wants to go forward, we would be leaning on you all. Then you have to kind of come up with your own findings of facts, or if really there's a question about the zoning code, and if we want to look at it again, then staff would be looking for that direction. But I do think we've made quite big strides in making these changes, and we're always going to have it. Some of these difficult decisions, nobody wants to say no to a resident. That's not what we like to do either. But what we're trying to do is keep the integrity of the code as much as possible. So.
Thanks, Kimberly. The one on Humber, was that a 4 or 5 foot open style fence?
Is that the one that backs up to like nothing in the backyard? It's like
Yes,
there was a big
the
gap.
pond.
Yeah. We've been pretty consistent with it being open style.
I think it's
wrought iron.
4 or 5 foot though. It's not.
Right, and a
Yeah, it's
lot
not
of
a 6
those
foot fence.
scenarios, it's because they are literally backing up to nothing that's gonna be developed. And, that has been the main reason why they've only supported those.
Wouldn't that apply to the backyard, though? What does that have to do with the side yard? So there's
Well, you
nothing
have
gonna be
two-
developed across from me, I've got the retention pond.
Right.
Across
It
from my
was more of
secondary
along
side
the
yard.
lines that nothing was, because no home could be
Connected to
built
that house.
directly behind it. So there's no, future driveway or connecting, In your scenario, you're essentially setting up then your neighbor when they have to get their fence replaced. It would be practically impossible for anyone to probably deny that if, because their fence currently doesn't comply, they'd have to be coming back. So that's
Right.
the concern of setting a precedent in
And
this scenario.
what I had brought up in the meeting is the neighbor behind me has a vinyl fence, the same one
Yeah.
I'm looking to put in with, at a minimum, 16 years useful life left.
Mm-hmm.
The neighbor across the street from them on the corner of Olcott and 171st has a vinyl fence with brick columns for the posts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a situation in which anybody would tell them when something needs to be replaced or fixed, you have to tear down 30 massive brick columns to fix your fence and bring it up to compliance. And as a citizen, I wouldn't want that either.
Well, as a person who has to regulate the code, if
We
your
would.
structure is not in compliance, then, and you removed it, then you would have to apply for a variation or you have to go into compliance. If there's ways to come into compliance, that's where we try to guide people to.
But then you also said at the zoning board meeting, that was never discussed with me in the meeting with staff, that you would allow a 10-foot variance for repair on my neighbor's fence at the back to close off the gap. Now the code, if I remember correctly, specifically allows for an 8-foot repair. If you draw a line in the sand, why are we allowing for a 10-foot section to be replaced at the back on my neighbor's yard?
I think it was an attempt for staff to try to address the concern that you were bringing up. I mean,
Can we attempt to address mine
you
now?
have the ability to construct a fence and use your yard as you see fit. We're not denying you the ability. You have the means to conduct a fence in code or within the administrative approval. So there's nothing more unique about the lot, the physical lot. And
Other
that's
than the
what we look at
size.
the standards. You physically can build a fence that complies with the current code. So there's,
Right, but-
regardless of lot size, that's how we look at it. There's nothing different about the lot in that it's physical topography. There's not a other massive structure that would preclude you from putting a fence into the code.
One of the things in the code, one of the driving forces behind the code, or at least written into the code, was the requirement for corner lots to be 12,500 square feet. My lot is 11,343. Is that not a hardship?
No, that's not, that was the way the subdivision was approved and platted at the time. I don't know how old the subdivision is off the top of my head. But not every single zoning lot in that district meets every lot requirement, but you still have in general a standard lot with no physical limitations.
So, two of the variations that Dan originally gave me and Lori gave me, one where it was approved and one where it was denied. The one where it was denied, there was no abutting fences, and in the staff report, it specifically called out the fact that there are no abutting fences and that this individual's lot was almost 3,000 square feet bigger than the 12,500 square feet, so there would be no loss of yard space. Consistently in the staff reports and in the way the board has voted, we've seen people call attention to the size of a lot.
I think that's just it's a detail that staff adds to it as part of
So the variations
conversation.
for Carlsbad and Arcadia,
It's just a comment, it's just a note, it's not a reason to, that, I think that's just a detail the staff puts in there.
but what about the variations at Carlsbad and Arcadia and Ridgeland?
Every case stands on its own, so
Those were, the hardship in those cases was loss of yard space. So my hardship's the same.
So the only thing, were you done, Kimberly? So the only thing I would add, is I've been up by there several times, like we talked there, there's houses to the north of you, I think, that all comply with the code. Don't disagree with what you're saying, I get what you're saying, Arcadia, Ridgeland. The problem with that, in my opinion, a code is written in anything as a general guideline. Is, like you clearly stated, there's so many different parts of Tinley that are different ages, and there's different reasons for this and that. You have to set a general guideline, and then you go from there where there's room for, a variation, where there's not. It all depends sometimes where you live, the age, and so I don't think Arcadia and Ridgeland would fit that. I think when you're doing that, it's more based on your area. I agree with you. If I lived there, I'd want the same thing, who wouldn't want more backyard? It's just, if you look at the house directly to the north, directly to north, but on the street to the north of you, I think theirs is only 5 feet, and then you go to 100 and, what's that through street, 170th?
Yes, sir. I asked for 5 feet.
And,
So originally, when I sat down with Walt and Lori the first time, I said, what if I only request 5 feet? And then, well, yeah, the fence is gonna lag in a little bit, but my neighbors only have to repair 5 feet. And they said, well, no, it would still be a variation. I said, what if the house you're referring to on the corner of 170th and Olcott? I said, what if I do exactly what they did, which they said is a privacy fence, but you can see in between the slats, so it's a little bit bigger with kind of like thinner bands of opening in between the slats. They said, no, we still consider that a privacy fence. I've tried to like meet them part of the way. The fact of the matter is they won't meet me any of the way because they've drawn a line in the sand at the open style fence.
Well, we've clarified that more in the code in the recent text amendments where we define specifically what
And
50%.
to your point about the different subdivisions and the different sections, and I agree 100%. My question is those variations were granted in 2020, a full 2 years after the new ordinance was adopted, and they were perfectly fine. And at that point, it came all down to appearance because Commissioner Seaman at the time actually requested that one of the residents, the house specifically, I think it was on Carlsbad and Ridgeland, if instead of just doing a standard cedar 6-foot fence, we'd be more likely to approve if you made it kind of like a shadow box to make it look a little bit nicer. I don't know how much more I can do with my house to make it look nicer. I've done quite a bit there.
again, so if it was former Mayor Seaman and then
Commissioner Seaman, when he was on the zoning board, not the mayor.
Commissioner
The minutes were in there on that house. You'd have to pull up the staff report, and I apologize, I don't have it in front
When
of me.
was that?
2020, July of 2020. There were quite a few variations granted in the summer of 2020, directly after it was written, and all of them listed loss of yard space as a hardship.
Again, I don't know if anyone else has anything to add, but all I would suggest is, it's not that they're drawing the line in the sand. So many, you have people that just put a fence up and they don't get a permit at all, and then, ask for forgiveness. And then it's hard to get someone, to go to someone and tell them to take a fence down. Or they have a restaurant and they do work without pulling a permit. It's hard after the fact to go in there and say, okay, rip your sprinklers out, rip all your drywall and electric. It just, they have to, draw the line somewhere, and that's kind of with the changes that staff has made over the years. And so there has to be uniformity. The problem is, you have one subdivision or part of town that looks like this. Fences are, like you said, the one that Humber, if you watched that meeting, I was
Absolutely.
100% against that.
Yes, sir.
And, but, unless it's a tie, you don't really get to vote, and so there's only 5 members here. So I wouldn't be voting anyway, but what I suggest is, I think it's too much of a variation, and then everyone else is gonna start following suit, like you just said, you used Humber. I think they need to, it's a case-by-case basis. I would recommend after this, regardless if it's a yay, then you don't have to do anything. If it's a nay, sit down and have a meeting again with them and try and find that happy median. And if you guys can find that where Kimberly could do something administratively, then you don't have to go through all this. I just think the request doesn't match some of your neighbors as well to the north as well. That's just my opinion.
So administratively, one of the things I'd asked, and I don't think they realized that I'd found it, the zoning and the code enforcement allows for them to administratively grant a variance on the property line. It's on the building line, not the property line. Without a meeting or without anything else, they can grant up to 10 feet, and that is written in the code. And when I asked about that, I said, if I'm keeping this, they said, well, that would be if you wanted to put an addition on your house. So administratively, I can kick my house out 10 feet additional on the side and then line up and like kick my house back. But administratively, I can't leave my fence kicked out 10 feet on the side. That to me is part of the inconsistency.
And it's,
So
when you have
again,
different administrations, you have different,
Right.
it's.
Understood.
it's-
Understood.
It's, eventually you have to, every year, every month,
Yes, sir.
they're trying to, mistakes that were made in the past, you don't see them all unless you just sit there all day, and we don't have the staff to sit there and go through every single line. And you're right, we found flaws with the Oak Park Avenue grant after, it was great, wanted to get it up and rolling and help the businesses. And then we saw some loopholes through some of the requests. And then, then Kimberly had to go back, I believe with Priscilla at the time, and you guys had to tweak it and remove some of the errors that, you just,
Yes, sir.
you missed. So I would suggest, I'd be more than happy to sit down and help you if this gets denied. I think, I have your email, I have your
Yes,
number,
sir.
we talked today. If it gets denied, I would suggest we get together, and we sit down and have a meeting, preferably if you're available on Wednesdays, when the village attorney is here, on Wednesdays, after board meetings, and see if we can find that medium that works for Kimberly, where she could do it administratively within the code, and if, where you don't even have to come back.
I appreciate it. Again, thank you for all your time. I know how busy you guys are. I don't enjoy being the squeaky wheel or like drawing this much attention myself. I kind of like to fly under the radar.
I mean, really, the 5-foot open style is what can be, we can issue a permit on that. We have no issues with that.
And that doesn't, yeah,
We eat dinner in my backyard, man. I have the kids back there. My kids, there's the swimming pool back there that took me like forever to get squared away. Like, everybody's familiar with the house and the former residents. Man, nothing had been done in that house since 2017, so it took me a long time to get it dialed in. There's constantly golfers down in the field, which I think is awesome. There's constantly people flying drones and partying down in the field. I think it's great. The 4th of July, the field gets packed. It's amazing. When I'm in the backyard, though, the kids are swimming and we're hanging out. I kind of want that privacy there, and I don't want to lose the space. My kids are active. My dog is active. That's all I'm looking for. I even put a bench on the side of my house. Like, my kids go play in the field, too. I horse around with them down there, too. I bring my baseball team down there once in a while and hit them some ground balls in the grass, I'm just looking to kind of close off my life from the community, just when we're in our backyard, when we're having dinner, and we're kind of hanging out back there, family time. That's all.
And I appreciate that, but I hope you can understand that is not a condition that is permanent and can change over time. So when the board has to look at these variations, they have to look at that.
Understood.
There is a legit, because you might not have a dog 5 years from now, and people make
Understood.
variation based on a dog being there, and that's not kind of the role of the code, so, but I can appreciate that, understand.
thank you, Kimberly. Anyone else have any comments?
Yeah, I'm just to say, you know, I went back and forth with this. I went back, I watched the plan commission meeting twice. You know, I'd love to say, just put the fence up, it goes in the line. But ultimately, you know, I know Kimberly and staff, you know, they make these codes. Doesn't mean I don't wanna say they're wrong, but, maybe flawed. There just seems to be a lot of people requesting variations that maybe would be something to revisit. But there's something we have to follow. You gave a lot of examples of, people that got their requests granted, which kind of says that there is no consistency. And also with the plan commission, I know they put a lot of time and effort in this. I watched, like I said, twice. I took some time to really hear both sides of this, and you give a great argument. But ultimately, you know, the code, the way that it's written, and I think the rule was that there had to been a hardship. I think your example was just how it would be put on your neighbor, but I don't know if that was proven that that would be proven to be a hardship for this scenario. So like I said, I went back and forth with this. I don't like it, the way that, because my biggest thing was, well, there's no obstruction to the street, which, you know, to me, but I don't know the code inside and out. I know there's a lot of new codes that were written recently. I haven't made it through all of reading all of them and understanding all of them, but I do try to take the time when something like this comes up. I don't know if it's something, like how long, you know, if there was something that we want to revisit with the code and take a look at it, since so many people are asking for variances. Maybe it's flawed a little, maybe it's just a little too strict. But that would be something that I would hope that we could revisit, just to make things easier on property owners. That's all I gotta say.
Thanks, Colleen. Dennis, do you have anything?
No comment at this time.
Trustee Brady? No.
Same.
Okay. That's good. Trustee Galante?
I kind of feel the same way, that we probably need to revisit this code. I didn't understand it being a hardship that you're on a busy corner and wanting privacy in your yard. But the code, you know, we do need to follow what it is at this time. But I agree, I hope there is a way that we can maybe revisit this to make changes.
Kimberly, I can work with you on that.
I'm hearing two members. I mean, if there's majority support, I mean, where staff would be at with this particular modification would probably be then looking at permitting a privacy fence versus the open style, so.
No, I was thinking the two of us can work together and find some way to get some more information to the board at a cow, and then go from there. So we just go that route.
Yeah, and it's not my code, it's the
know.
village's
No.
code, okay? We do try to put our professional 2 cents on it, but at the end of the day, it's exactly what the village board wants to see, and we uphold that. That's what we're here to do, so it's your vision, so.
Can we lead with my property and y'all vote yes? I'm like, that kind of sets it.
You don't want a
in
yes
motion.
vote, because a yes vote is to deny it.
No, so.
You want
so
everyone to
the no
vote,
I
you want everyone to vote no.
No, yes, sir.
So if that's it, I think we should vote, and if it's, regardless of what way it goes, if stays in the negative, be more than happy. Like Mike said, maybe we set up a meeting and sit down and see what we can do. Other than that, I think we're ready. So when the clerk calls the roll, so everyone's on the same page, so we don't do like someone did in Survivor when they voted wrong. I think it was season 2 or 3. Gave someone $1 million on a wrong vote. So if you're voting yes, you are voting yes with trustee Mueller's motion to deny the variation. So you'll be voting with him. If you vote no, you're voting against trustee Mueller's motion to deny. Is that good, Counselor?
And then I believe at that time, if there's majority votes no, then it would go back to a vote to approve.
No,
that's
then
final.
it's,
That's
then it's
final.
done.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Are we doing one motion?
you're doing, no, you have that
One
one.
motion.
So you have his
There's a
motion
first
to
and second.
deny. You
So
had-
I'm okay
You already
to
had a first and
change
second.
I'm okay to change the verbiage on instead of granting.
No, it's a motion
To
to
deny.
deny his request for a grant of a variation.
Right, but
Superseding motion on top of the existing
I
motion.
understand that, but this item number says granted. I'm okay to change that to deny.
No, we're not changing anything on the agenda item number. He read the agenda item, and then he made a motion to deny,
So,
which was
Laura-
seconded by Dennis. So now we're about to take a vote. We had a discussion. You can change your, you don't have to vote with him. He made a motion to deny. It was seconded by trustee Mahoney. The verbiage on the agenda item is fine. What we're taking action on.
The motion.
Is the motion to deny. A yes is to agree with him to deny the request. Got it?
Yep, so,
Thanks.
all right, so Madam Clerk, for item 10, will you please call the roll?
Roll call on item 10, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
So that motion carries unfortunately 5-0 in the negative. Like I said, Eric, just, if you want, you know, you have my number, an email, calls, preferably, if we're gonna get, really into the code, you should set up a meeting and we come on a Wednesday when, Village Attorney Paul O'Grady is here, if that works for you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sorry, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, everyone, for your discussion. Next, we have item 11, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting ordinance 2022-0-038, granting a variation to permit a patio and fence in a secondary front yard for property located at 7240 174th Place.
Is there a second?
Oh, second?
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
The petitioner, Jim, let's just say Jim, is seeking variations from the zoning ordinance to permit an existing 682 square foot patio and a 5-foot high open style fence to encroach 25 feet into the required secondary front yard of their property located at R4 zoning district. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 5th, 2022, and voted 6-1 on the alternate motion, with the condition the no vote on the original motion and the alternate were different commissioners who each had preferred either the less restrictive motion allowing the fence and patio as is or the more restrictive motion with the condition. The village board held a first reading on this item in May 17, 2022, meeting and voiced a support for the alternate vote by the Plan Commission, and this ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thanks, Mike. I couldn't hear you. What was the petitioner's name?
Jim,
Okay.
James.
Any questions or comments from the board for Kimberly?
Just to remind everybody, the condition is that if the patio is removed, the fence would then become non-compliant as well.
Any comments from public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 11, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 12, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-054, a resolution to join the South Suburban Land Bank and Development Authority and appoint a local government director.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dennis. Go ahead, Mike.
This resolution will redeclare the Village of Tinley Park's membership with the South Suburban Land Bank and Development Authority. The Economic Commercial Commission voted 5-0 at the May 9th, 2022 meeting to recommend the village board support the adoption to the intergovernmental agreements necessary to reestablish this membership and appoint the community development director as the village representative to the organization. This resolution is also eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 12, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. Item 13, trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-055, authoring an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and the South Suburban Land Bank Development Authority.
Second. Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks, Dennis. The Economic Commercial Commission voted 5-0 at the May 9th, 2022 meeting to recommend the village board support the adoption of the intergovernmental agreement necessary to reestablish membership and appoint the community development director of the village representative to the organization. This resolution is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item number 14, Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider adopting Resolution 2022-R-056, approving an intergovernmental agreement between the South Suburban Land Bank Authority, the Village of Tinley Park, for the acquisition of certain properties located through abandoned proceedings.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Dennis. Go ahead, Mike.
Sorry, it's abandonment proceedings. Apologize for that. The Economic Commercial Commission voted 5-0 at the May 9th, 2022 meeting to recommend the village board support the adoption of the intergovernmental agreement necessary to reestablish membership and appoint the community development director, the village representative to the organization. Congrats, Kimberly, on additional responsibilities.
Just remember, she recommended that she be that position.
She volunteered.
There weren't a lot of hands.
You could have gave it to Dan or Lori.
Other hands.
Any comments from the board about Kimberly's new position?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Tackle some property.
Yeah.
Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll.
Roll call for item 14. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Kimberly, if you find properties you want to get rid of, you just have to call Paul. We'll be sure to buy them. Motion carries. Item 15, Trustee Mueller.
I move we consider ordinance number 2022-0-040, amending the Village of Tinley Park zoning ordinance pertaining to accessory structures, driveways, and the transfer of regulations from the building code.
I'll second.
Thanks, Dennis. Go ahead, Mike.
The Plan Commission held a workshop on April 21st, 2022, and a public hearing on May 19th, 2022, and the commissioners voted 5-0 to recommend the text amendments to the village board. This ordinance is just eligible for first read tonight.
Any questions from the board? Nope. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 15. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes?
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item is item 16, Atlas Putty.
I move we consider adopting ordinance number 2022-0-043, granting a special use for a substantial deviation from the North Star Business Center, PUD, for the Atlas Putty redevelopment at 8301 185th Street.
Second.
So moved.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mike.
The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 19, 2022, and voted 4-0 to recommend approval of the special use to allow demolition of an existing structure and reconfiguration of the existing lots that will permit construction of a new 87,267 square foot warehouse building. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mike. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? No, I'd like to say thank you, Mr. Payton, for staying in Tinley. For you guys that don't know, he's growing so quickly. He's got little spots all over the place, and he's gonna be able to put more of them in one. And actually, he so graciously donated 2 semi-trucks of product to people, so thank you for that.
Mayor, if I can make a comment?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. Just wanted to also extend my gratitude. I went to a conference in Chicago and is talking about economic development and how manufacturing is key to Illinois. And we in Tinley Park are very fortunate that we have a lot of small businesses, such as Mr. Payton's, in our community, employing people and expanding and choosing to stay in Tinley. It is what makes us a great community, that these small businesses are here. But more importantly, just the critical place that these manufacturers play in our economy, and Illinois is just positioned strategically with our roads, our rail, and access to waterways, which makes us definitely a state to consider doing business in. So thank you for choosing to stay in Tinley.
Thank you. That's a big footprint. Madam Clerk, call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 16, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Last item we have for Alice Putty is item number 17.
I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-060, approving and accepting the Atlas Putty final plat of subdivision at 8301 185th Street.
Second.
Thank you. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
Dennis. The Plan Commission reviewed the final plat on May 19, 2022, and voted 4-0 to recommend approval with the conditions listed in the staff report. This resolution is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mueller. Any questions from the board for Atlas Putty? Nope. Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll?
Roll call for item 17, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations. Thank you for staying in Tinley.
Thank you.
Next, we have item number 18, unless anyone wants to skip it. Go ahead, Mike.
I move we consider adopting ordinance number 2022-0-044, granting a masonry variation for certain property located at 9260 Pleasant Avenue, I'm sorry.
Do we have a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
Do we have a second?
Bill Brady.
Oh, you did? Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Bill. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on May 19, 2022, and voted 5-0, recommending approval of the variation to permit a new single-family home to be constructed with only partial first-floor masonry. This ordinance is eligible for adoption tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Mueller, is there anything from the board? Just want to say, I think it looks beautiful. Paul, I don't know if there's anything you want to add? New homeowner in Tinley?
No, I just, based on where it was positioned in the town, the planning commission meeting, we agreed that, what would be discussed,
Great. Thank you, Paul. Anyone else?
Mayor.
Go ahead.
My only question is, should we be also reviewing the same section? I mean, if what he's saying is that it's maybe in a certain area, it shouldn't be required, should everybody else be required to go through the same variance then? Is there changes that need to be made to this?
Kimberly, did you
Oh, I think
care
it's
to answer that?
a good point. We can maybe look at some ways to make it built in the zoning code where maybe there's some more guidelines, because I'm aware of what we did with the fences, so we can definitely take that into consideration.
How many new houses were constructed last year?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head,
Single digits, right?
but yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of staff time for,
If building starts picking up, I certainly agree, but going through a variation process at this time, just based on the quantity, I think is the,
fairly simple.
yeah.
Great,
Yep.
thanks. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Roll call for item 18, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Paul. Item number 19. I'd like to ask the board for a motion to consider appointing Walsh Law Group for legal services.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Approval of Walsh Law Group engagement letter would authorize the village to utilize their services as required. And as I mentioned, and I believe trustee Mueller mentioned, it is in your packet on page 200 something, I believe. Any comments from the board?
I have comments.
Sure, go ahead, Diane.
I just want to state again, I'm very concerned about this open appointment, that I believe we should be voting on each time an item comes up that we have to have special counsel for. Again, I'm concerned because back in 2019, when Mr. Walsh came here, it was supposed to be something handled within a week, and it was a year before he came back to the board, and things had changed. I'm questioning why he is calling me on my home location stating he's part of a different law firm. And now we're being asked to appoint him to a different law firm. And nobody can clear that up for me. If he's with a different law firm than this Walsh Law Group, that's a large concern of mine. You know, why I'm getting called from him, why he is reaching out to people in this community saying that I perjured myself on my affidavits, that concerns me. Why he would do such a thing. For those reasons and the fact that, again, quarterly reporting was always something provided to boards before us. I believe those need to be reinstated. We need to be getting better details on our spending, on our legal bills. If you're gonna say now that the vendor reports are gonna have more detail, and now I have to try to put that together and add the weekly ones up to get this information, I think it should be provided to us. It's something every board in the past has gotten. I don't know why it was stopped for us. I'm now FOIAing this information because I can't get it. As a trustee, to have to FOIA this information, I think it's ridiculous. I cannot vote for this appointment. I think we should be getting more control of our legal spending. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else from the board care to comment? Did you have something to say, Dennis?
Are we confusing two different Pat Walshes here?
I don't know what she's doing. The former village manager had that discussion through email with her.
Can I
The one
clarify?
Patrick, excuse me?
Okay.
And the one Patrick Walsh that she said that same comment to, corrected her and explained who he was, where his firm is not the individual that she's referring to, so.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify there.
There's email after email on it. And then, I just wanted to add on this, again, the fact that she has to FOIA it, it's probably because there's a conflict. You can't be found guilty in an ethics complaint
Point of order.
Okay, what's your point of order?
The point of order is that we are talking about an appointment, you're bringing in a ethics complaint into something that is not what we're talking about on the special meeting that you created today.
Is that it? Thank you. Denied. You had the FOIA, the legal bills, because you were found guilty, the only one in the history of the village, for sharing attorney-client privileged information with an individual named Stephen Eberhardt, who was suing the village. So now you are adverse to the village because you're taking the confidential information that staff is providing to you, and then you're filing affidavits that aren't even true. And so maybe that's why you're FOIAing it. I have no idea. Set up a meeting and come in and speak to the attorney. I believe they've told you that before if you want. So as far as maybe that's why you're FOIAing it. Because I don't know what anyone could share with you, because whatever they share with you, it seems to end up in exhibits with Stephen Eberhardt. Any other questions from the board?
Just two things. One, should Patrick Walsh use a middle initial or Patrick instead of Pat or something, just to designate the two of them? And two, the stuff that you FOIA, what does it cost us to get that information out to her, out to Diane?
It's expensive. And, well, you don't really need to put a middle initial in, Bill. Great point. If you look at the backup that was provided, that one agenda item, the clerk gave trustee Galante the page numbers that she said she didn't get, which is in the packet. And then trustee Mueller also stated other pages that were in the packet that she said she didn't get, that are provided for everyone to see. He lists his name, he lists his address of where he's located. And if you look at the one that did the one Patrick Walsh that did the ethics complaint where she was sharing confidential information, he has an address in one location. The attorney that works for the village has a totally different location and middle initial. So I don't know what to do. It's listed here, but anywho. Anyone else from the board? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Roll call for item 19. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
No.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries. Item 20, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-068, approving the Public Works Fleet Vehicle Purchase List.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Take your pick. Go ahead, Dennis.
Approve the Public Works Fleet Vehicle Purchase List that includes various vehicles with a purchase amount exceeding $20,000 for each vehicle. All vehicles will be purchased through our standing cooperative purchasing agreements. Funding is budgeted and available in the approved fiscal year 2023 budget capital fund. Consider approving the Public Works Fleet Purchase List in the estimated cost of $2,858,000. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 20. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 21, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move we consider adopting ordinance number 2022-0-047, approving the disposal of surplus personal property owned by the village at Tinley Park, Public Works Fleet, Vehicle, and Equipment.
I'll second the motion.
Thank you. Approve the Public Works Fleet Vehicle Equipment List for disposal, which includes various items valued over $1,000. The village uses multiple methods to achieve the highest amount of compensation for its surplus vehicles or equipment. Most items will be sold through public auctions or through salvage and recycling companies. Consider approving the Public Works Fleet Vehicle and Equipment List for disposal. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This ordinance is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Roll call for item 21. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 22, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-061, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and SKC Construction Incorporated for 2022 pavement crack fill program.
Seconded.
A second. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead,
The
Dennis.
2022 pavement crack fill program consists of cleaning and filling transverse and longitudinal joints and cracks in existing bituminous flexible pavement with fiber modification asphalt cement. Staff has used this maintenance technique to extend the pavement life and save money on asphalt and resurfacing. One bid was received and publicly read on May 25th, 2022. The lowest responsible bidder is SKC Construction Incorporated in the amount of $168,000. Consider awarding a contract to SKC Construction Incorporated in the amount of $168,000 plus $17,000 contingency amount. Total contract amount not to exceed $185,000. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 22. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item 23, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-062, approving the fiscal year 2023 pavement management program, resurfacing program, motor fuel tax.
I'll second.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Dennis.
The village budgeted $3.8 million for the fiscal year 2023 program, including the engineering fees, and the project is intended to be funded with MFT and Rebuild Illinois capital grant funds. In accordance with Illinois' compliance statutes and IDOT procedures, an adoption of a resolution declaring the intent and appropriation of MFT funds is required for the fiscal year 2023 PMP resurfacing program. Consider approving a resolution for fiscal year 2023 pavement management program, resurfacing program, motor fuel tax. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Roll call for item 23. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item 24, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-063, approving the fiscal year 2023 pavement management program, resurfacing program, Rebuild Illinois.
A second?
Thanks, Colleen. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks. The PMP resurfacing program is an annual program that the village budgeted $3.8 million for the fiscal year 2023 program, including the engineering fees, and the project is intended to be funded with MFT and Rebuild Illinois capital grant funds. The funds are deposited into the village's MFT accounts and follow the MFT procedures. Consider approving a resolution for Rebuild Illinois funds to be allocated to the fiscal year 2023 PMP resurfacing program, a resolution for improvement by municipality under the Illinois Highway Code. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 24. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 25, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-064, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and Iroquois Paving Corporation for the fiscal year 2023 PMP resurfacing program contract award.
A second?
Thank you, Colleen. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks. The PMP resurfacing program had 5 bids that were received and publicly read on May 26, 2022. The lowest responsible bidder was Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $3,454,641.53 based on the low adjusted bid amount, which was change order number 1. Consider awarding a contract to Iroquois Paving Corporation in the amount of $3,454,641.53. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held previous to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you. And just for a quick summary, the reason it says change order number 1, they were the original low bidder in the $3.6 million range. Because it was over budget, John just removed a small scope of the work, and they subtracted the line items for that, so they can get near the budget. Correct, John?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please?
Roll call for item 25. Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item 26, Trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-065, approving a professional services agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Robinson Engineering Limited for the fiscal year 2023 PMP resurfacing program engineering agreement.
Is there a second?
Second?
Thanks, Colleen. Go ahead.
Thanks. The PMP resurfacing program requires a professional services agreement between the Village and Robinson Engineering Limited. That includes the design, engineering, and construction services for the project. Consider approving the professional services agreement between the Village of Tinley Park and Robinson Engineering Limited in the amount of $369,358.47. This item was discussed at the committee of the whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 26, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you. You need a breather, Dennis, or you want to keep rolling?
I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Item number 27, trustee Mahoney.
Thank you. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-066, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and PT Farrell Construction for the 174th Street water main and roadway improvements.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
Dennis, go ahead.
Thanks. This project consists of replacing water main, valves, and fire hydrants on 174th Street, 66th Court, and the 173rd Place roadway changes to 174th Street and 66th Court to improve the intersection alignment will also take place. The installation of street lighting infrastructure was included in this project as an alternate bid, which includes new light poles throughout the project limits. Consider awarding a contract to PT Farrell Construction in the amount of $1,654,374.20. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis. Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 27, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
I didn't hear.
Said yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Item 28, trustee Mahoney.
Okay, last but not least. I move we consider adopting resolution number 2022-R-069, approving a contract between the Village of Tinley Park and Christie Weber Landscapes for fiscal year 2023 landscape bed maintenance.
Is there a second?
Yeah, second.
Thanks, Colleen. Go ahead, Dennis.
Thanks. This requested service contract is for a qualified contractor to provide maintenance to the village's 5.6 acres of landscape beds throughout Tinley Park. Consider awarding a contract to Christie Weber Landscapes in the amount of $159,797.75. Consider awarding a contract to Christie Weber Landscapes in the amount of $159,797.75. This item was discussed at the Committee of the Whole meeting held prior to this meeting. This resolution is eligible for adoption.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks.
Any questions from the board? Any comments from the public? Madam Clerk, you please call the roll.
Roll call for item 28, trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Next, we have item number 29, receive comments from staff. Anyone from staff care to comment? Go ahead, John.
Yes, I just wanted to extend my appreciation to my staff for achieving the record high number of items on tonight's Cowan board meeting. We have a lot of projects going underway, and I also want to extend my sincere apologies to Trustee Mahoney for the book he had to read tonight. So thank you again for all of your support up there.
Well, it's a job well done by you guys and your team, so definitely appreciate it.
The flip side is that means we have a lot of stuff going on, which is good.
Right.
If you're not reading items, there's nothing happening.
Right.
Donna Fram.
I'll also add that we had our first cruise night tonight. We had about 220 cars out there. A nice night for the event. Our first concert is Saturday evening. It's Blues Brothers, which is a Motown/tribute band. And we had our first farmers market of the season last Saturday, very well attended. So the event season is off and running, and we're really excited about that.
Thanks, Donna. Kimberly?
Just wanted to give my team a thank you as well. It's, as you know, spring / almost summer around the corner, and grass and high weeds. My team's been tackling everything pretty promptly as much as possible, and I know it's an ongoing battle sometimes, but I think they are out there trying to make sure the community stays in good order. So, but by any means, keep us apprised. I only have 2 code enforcement officers for a pretty large town. We are happy to take any emails, text messages, if you see something, we appreciate the extra eyes out there helping us while we try to, things start to heat up and the grass starts to slow down, so.
I've been cutting my grass twice a week to stay off your list, so.
I wish some people would cut it once.
Sometimes twice a month. Thanks, Kimberly. Anyone else? Laura? I'm good. Next, we have item number 30, receive comments from the board. Before we open up the board comment, just a reminder, we've had an issue in the past with board members speaking over other board members when they have the floor. I will preserve order and decorum again, just to let everyone know. Please be respectful of everyone speaking and let them have their time and not interrupt them. Anyone have any comments from the board?
Actually, I have two.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you. Just a note here, certainly it's well noted that we should stand up and not stand up, but pay attention to this. Dr. Arthur Wagner is a resident here of, at age 96, a longtime resident of Tinley Park, and then of Frankfort, Illinois, passed away on June 1st, 2022, of natural causes. Art was a World War II veteran. He earned a BS and a master's in microbiology at Michigan and a PhD of education at Northern Illinois University. He taught biology at the Joliet Junior College and served as the chair of the biology department for many years. Dedicated to faith, he also served as a congressional president of Zion Lutheran Church here in Tinley. He served Tinley Park as a member and a chair of the Sisters City Commission and was awarded a key to the city for his efforts. His efforts was well documented in making Boudingan our sister city, okay? And he was an avid hunter, fisherman, black powder enthusiast, you don't have many of those around, and inviting love of the Old West, especially Native American history and the culture. He spent many happy days traveling across the country and Europe with his family and his friends. So, Dr. Wagner, we wish you and your family, sorry for your passing, but it sounds like you had a good life.
Thank you, Dennis. Or, I mean, Bill. Anyone else on the board care to comment?
He had a second item.
I still have another second.
Oh,
Got number 2.
Number 2.
right.
First of all, I'd like to thank the board and members of the staff here, the village staff, for many of their comments and kind words and condolences on the passing of my brother last week. My brother was 77 years old, and I also want to thank the village for a beautiful, beautiful piece, plant and flowers and everything that was sent on behalf of the village to my brother. We do appreciate it, and it's sad. His birthday is the end of the month, and he just a couple weeks short of his 50th wedding anniversary. And he and his wife have been together 60 years. He's like the rest of the Irish and take a long time just dating somebody. And they dated for 10 years, so he wanted to make sure, and it certainly lasted 50. But I just wanted to thank you all for your kindnesses and the members of the staff and that came out to the wake that night and extend your sympathies. From speaking from the family, we do appreciate it all. Thank you all.
Anyone else on the board care to comment?
I just want to say something.
Go ahead, Colleen.
I just want to commend Kimberly and your staff for going over the whole code with the fence. You know, like I said, I had to watch the plan commission twice. It was explained very well. I don't know all the codes well. I don't know why they were written the way they were written sometimes, but I know that they are written by people that's their job and they know what they're doing. You know, it's difficult, you know, somebody like that, a nice guy, comes up, you know, you want to be like Oprah and give everyone whatever they want. You get a fence, but I know we can't do that. But, you know, it really made my decision tonight based on the comments from the Plan Commission, from your staff, and from you tonight. So, you know, I definitely got to educate myself a little bit more on that subject, but you guys did a great job explaining the reason why we can't just, you know, give everyone what they are asking for. So, thank you.
Support, yeah, you know, it's hard to say no.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
Thanks, Colleen.
Thanks.
I just wanted to add, I want to thank anyone that was at the farmer's market today. You all right, Bill?
Yes, oxygen.
You want to sit by Steve? anyone that went to the farmer's market this weekend, it was a huge success. I want huge thank you to Kelly Oswald and the marketing team. The first year out of the gate went from 29 vendors to 47 vendors, I believe. A couple that weren't there but paid, just waiting for some of their blueberries and strawberries and everything to be ready, but they are coming, and some others just had some other plans where they couldn't make it, but they will be there. I thank the clerk's office, police department, fire department, public works, community development, and our manager's office. You guys are doing an outstanding job, and this, you guys have taken on a lot this year, especially the marketing team with taking over for the Convention Bureau, which has been a huge success and a great idea brought to us by Donna, and just our HR department as well. You guys are, we're bringing a lot of stuff to you. There's a lot on your plate with development and everything else, and code changes maybe in the future, but other than that, just thank you to everyone. Staff, you guys are doing an amazing job, and I appreciate it, because you could see in the results what all of us are doing together, so thank you, everyone. Anyone else care to comment? Item 31, receive comments from the public. Anyone from the public care to speak on any agenda items tonight? No. Next, we have item 32. Pat, is there anything to adjourn to executive session for? You don't? Okay, thank you. So with that, then, I will ask the board for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the special meeting.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill. Madam Clerk, you call the roll, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Galante?
Yes.
Trustee Mahoney?
Yes.
Trustee Mueller?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes.
That motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.